How's it going, everybody? It's Sick here, back again with TA3 Productions and Vindictive Gaming, and we're jumping right back into the Build a Mansion how-to tutorial, whatever you want to call it. And today we're going to make it look somewhat of a house. You know, right now it still doesn't look like it, but mark my words, it's going to look like a house after this, and you're going to be pretty proud of it. So let's just go ahead and get it started. And for those of you that are mothers, happy Mother's Day. It is a nice day. So let's just go ahead and start with some glowstone here in the corners. We're just going to try to light it up here. We're going to cover this up later, but for now, let's just light it up, make sure we can see everything. Let's go ahead and add some floors up in here because, you know, this is going to be our doors. So we're going to have to know exactly where we're going through. And yeah, nothing fancy yet. We're not going to go into the inside just yet. And yeah, I think now we're going to go ahead and try to spice up the actual balcony part. I don't really like the way this is looking, so let's go ahead and add some pillar. I call these casings. Put a casing around the pillar. It just makes it look a lot more larger, a lot more sturdier, and it just makes it look better. Alright, that looks good. Now let's go ahead and add some flooring, so a different color flooring. I'm going to go with the clay here. I like the gray, the way it looks. It's actually called cyan, I believe, but it looks gray in this texture pack. So if you don't have this color in your texture pack, just make it something that you like. It could be wood, it could be stone, it could be whatever. I personally really like this texture pack, and this gray, it comes out really nice, and it just looks great. That way when we add our road here in a second, it'll look good with it. So speaking of the road, let's just go ahead and add that real quick just so we know exactly where we're going to put it. I'm actually in the middle of a golf course, so it's going to be kind of hard to add like a walkway towards my mansion, but that's something for me to figure out later, and hopefully you guys have a nice little area in front of it. And I'll also help you do that as well. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and add some bushes around our area just to make it look a little bit more elegant. Let's go ahead and drop some glowstone underneath it. This is a cool little trick you can do. Drop some glowstone and then put your grass on top of it. That way it's lit up, but you kind of somewhat don't see it. You still do see it, but it kind of looks cool. I don't know what to call it. It looks really nice underneath it, and it has a nice little, like, almost like a sprinkle of glitter or something. I don't know what you would call it. But it just makes it look nice. You could use any kind of bush you want. I personally always like to go with the brightest color one in the area. So if you're like in the jungle, it might be a different bush. So just go with something a lot of green. Alright, so let's just go ahead and start adding some windows here. Everything looks good, I think, up in the front. But now we're going to need to add some extenders outward. And the best way to do that is just add a humongous area on the right side or the left side. We're going to start with the right over here. Go ahead and go back one. Do not be on the same exact thing. Make sure to go back one, and let's go ahead and lay out 10 more blocks. I like the number 10, so it's always a good little number to be even. And yeah, so let's just add 10 here and then go all the way up, and we're going to stop where it starts with the 3 casing up here. So you can see exactly where the 3 starts. Go ahead and remove that one. Then build up the other side and then close it up. That way we have a nice little 10 by, I don't even know what that is, but it's going to be 10 by whatever it is to the top of the 3 casings. You don't really have to measure it out or add up the blocks. Make sure you're at the same level as I am here, right below the 3 casings up on top. Alright, because we went with 10 blocks across, the usually good rule of thumb to remember is 3, 2, 3. So go ahead and remove 3 blocks here, and we're pretty much going to find the middle, and it should be 2 blocks. So 1, 2, 3 on this side, on the other side as well, 1, 2, 3, and it should be 2. And then make sure to put these 2 in the back here. That way we know that we don't want to build up here. We want to pretty much make a little bit of an extender. And build up these 2 center beams here. These are going to be pretty much like a structural beam. I know a lot of people will actually want to make like a big window. That's something you don't want to do because it doesn't look as great. For here, we're going to actually do the opposite of what I just put there and do these. I think these look a little bit better. Remember, we use that design on the porch, so you don't want to duplicate it. And on the back here, just go ahead and remove these excess blocks. We don't need them anymore. We kind of just wanted to see what it would look like with the other ones. Next, we're going to put in some windows. These are going to be my glass panes. I actually use the white glass panes. Remember, if you use a different glass pane, this is where you want to put it in. Don't try to mix up all the glass panes. It just doesn't look as great. These are going to be 5 high windows, but because the porch actually is 1 block up, we're going to make it 6 high windows. That way we have the same level of the windows. You want them to add up when we start adding our cross members and our cross designs, because you don't want anything to look all cattywampus. You want it to look pretty straight. Some people do like that design feature. I do not. Alright, to close up the window here, we want to do the opposite of what we did on the bottom and do an upside down stair, because we did a right side up stair on the bottom. And yeah, it looked like this. And like I said, you can see how the porch is a little bit different. You want to use the similar designs, but not exactly the same. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and close this up with the structural design I was talking about here. Just go ahead and put one upside down and then do the right side up, and it'll give you this nice little feature of it being like a nice 3D feature to go all the way across the crossbeam. And there we go, everything lines up. Make sure your windows line up perfectly. If they do not, please correct them now, because we're going to need to have that when we do stuff later on. And you can see it looks pretty great. And yeah, so let's go ahead and duplicate on the other side. Make sure to go back 1 and then 10 all the way across. And I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward this so you guys can build. Go ahead and pause the video here while you build. Make sure you do it right, and remember 3 2 3. So remove the 3, the 2 center beams, put the stairs right side up, Windows 6 all the way up, and then make sure to close it back up with the all the way cross beam going across. There we go, and it should look similar to this. I'm finishing up here. This is exactly what you should have, so make sure if you do not have this to fix it now, like I said before, because this is very crucial when we start adding these cross beams, that everything looks symmetrical and center and straight. So yeah, it looks like we're starting to look like a house here, guys. We're doing a great job. And next we're going to go ahead and start adding some windows up top. Before we do that, we're actually going to add this casing up on top. Remember, I have the 3 casings for the roof area. We're actually going to add a pretty nice roof, I think, on this. I think I'm going to go with some gray. But before we do that, we need a solid structural flat area. So I'm going to go ahead and put these 3 up here on the top on both sides, and it's going to look pretty great. I think I really like the way this came out. It kind of looks almost like a White House for now, but once we start adding the roofing, it's not going to look like that. But I really like the way this is starting to look. It looks pretty great. We're going to start adding some small little details in here to enhance it, just ever so little, but it's going to make a big difference. So right here in the middle, people would usually put a window here. I do not want to. We're just going to go ahead and take these 2 out and put a regular, just a regular quartz block here all the way up. I don't know what it is. It's a nice little textural design that I think will come out great. And yeah, maybe we might go back in and change it later, but for now I really like the way that looks. It gives it a little bit of uniqueness when you're doing it. So go ahead and grab a half slab of whatever slab you use on the bottom to cover up your pillars, and we're going to go ahead and make a small little enhancement detail here. This is something to give it a little bit more contrast. Make sure it's a different color. You can use a quartz half slab, but this is where, like I said, you want to use color. So it's going to match your porch area, so make sure to do that. Come all down to the window area as well. Make sure to put it at the top level of the stairs, and we're not going to go all the way into there, but go ahead and stop it right there. We'll go ahead and fix this up later. I think with the casing, I think it'll be nice, but for now, leave it there. Go to the other side, do the same exact thing. Make sure you're on the same level. Look across there, and we are. So we're going to go ahead and keep closing it in. And yeah, and like I said, over here, I don't really like the way that looks. It looks kind of like it's unfinished. So we're going to actually go in and make a casing here, like if it's a pillar block. So go ahead and put one right side up, and then put one underneath it. Again, on the other side, right side up, one underneath it. And then go ahead and turn it in, because that also doesn't look finished. So we're going to go ahead and turn that in to where it connects into the pillar beam. You see, that's actually the pillar beam right there. And that's usually where you see the casings when they're connected to those pillar beams. And yeah, that looks I like that. That's nice. Good texture feature, and it's starting to look nice. It's starting to look like a nice little mansion that you would bring your home to, and hopefully on Minecraft you're going to enjoy it. Next, we're going to add some window panes, but as you can see on the back side, we do not have our floor level here, so we're going to go ahead and close that in. Remember, this is going to be the floor of that floor, so before we add our panes here, we need to know that this is going to be the floor, not the one below that. So go ahead and add your window panes here. This will be a floor level window pane. It will actually touch the floor, kind of like what you would see like in a nice hotel. Go ahead and put these up. It should be 4 blocks high, so if you're closing this in and it's like 5 or 6 or something, make sure that you added correctly when you were doing your other blocks. Like I said, this is where those small little details, if you messed up, it can really mess up everything on the back end here. But these should be just 4 levels high. Very nice, simple windows. These are going to likely be very large bedrooms and stuff like that. But yeah, so go ahead and put that on the same side over here. They're going to be 3 wide by 4. So nice double big humongous windows. These, like I said, will likely be suites because they're at the top level. They're going to be floors. Maybe in the future, or not. No, actually I want to add some balconies, but I think I'm going to add it to an extended part onto the right side over there, and I think that will, to close it up, maybe we'll put the balconies on the side because that's actually where the water is. So That's a pretty good idea. I'll probably implement that later on. And yeah, this is what your back of your mansion should look like. A pretty simple block layout here. On the front, it should look similar to this, but before I go show you that, I'm going to actually close off the top. Remember I said I'm going to add a roof, and we need to have a flat surface up here. So go ahead and just close that up, and yeah, so we're getting there. It looks like we're actually getting pretty tall over there compared to the mansions and stuff. But yeah, it should look exactly like this. 4 windows on the left side, 1 in the center, and yeah, so let's go ahead and add some pillars here as well. I think we need to add 1 large pillar. You usually see these in like the big old houses. I really like this design. Make sure to go all the way to the top here. So if you don't go to the top, it's going to look a little bit cattywampus, because this is a pillar. It's going to be all the way up into the roof. So yeah, so make sure to close it in like that. Looks good. I think we're going to add some casings in just a little bit later. Come to the other side and build it up just the same way you did all the way to the top. And then once we get to the top here, we're going to add our casing where the half slab stops. See, it kind of looks, it doesn't look good like that. So what you're going to do is go ahead and add these little small detail blocks. Go ahead and add the top and upside down, top layer stairs right side up, and then upside down again. Gives you a nice casing, gives you a nice 3D look as well. I know somebody said that this looks like a 2D mansion. We're getting there. We're getting there slowly. Remember, these are slow builds, and you want to take your time to way it looks. It looks very good. And yeah, we're getting to the end of this video here, guys. So like I said last time, please leave a like if you do enjoy. And I can't wait to see you guys on the next episode. Please leave some feedback in the comment section below as well. And until next time, guys, I've been Sick on the Sticks, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Later.